Ravi woke up every morning before dawn, pulling on his worn-out shoes and heading to the parking lot where his auto rickshaw waited. For over a decade, he had been driving through the chaotic streets of Mumbai, weaving between honking cars, motorbikes, and pedestrians. His rickety vehicle was old and battered, much like the roads he drove on, but it was his lifeline, the means by which he supported his wife and 2 young children. Life wasn't easy for Ravi. He worked long hours, battling unpredictable weather, aggressive competitors, and fluctuating fuel prices. Some days, he barely earned enough to cover expenses, let alone save for emergencies or his kids' education. Yet, despite the hardships, Ravi remained cheerful and kind-hearted. He believed in doing the right thing even when no one was watching. If a passenger dropped something valuable, he would return it without hesitation. If an elderly person needed help crossing the street, he would stop and assist them. And if someone couldn't afford the fare, he often let them ride for free. "Babu," his wife once teased, "if you keep giving away rides, how will we eat?" Ravi chuckled, adjusting his turban. "We may not have much, but we still have our honor. That's worth more than money." One sweltering afternoon, as Ravi cruised along a busy intersection, he noticed a woman standing near the curb, looking lost and frustrated. She clutched a map in one hand and gestured wildly at passers-by, trying to ask for directions. Her face was flushed, and sweat dripped down her neck, clear signs of someone overwhelmed by the chaos of the city. Without thinking twice, Ravi pulled over. The woman looked up as Ravi approached, her eyes filled with relief mixed with apprehension. "Hotel?" she asked hesitantly, pointing to the map in her hand. Ravi nodded, smiling warmly to put her at ease. "Yes, madam. I take you." She climbed into the rickshaw, fanning herself with the crumpled map. Though they struggled to communicate, her broken English clashing with his limited vocabulary, they managed to piece together that she was trying to find a hotel called Greenview Inn. As Ravi navigated the crowded streets, he could sense her growing frustration. The city was a labyrinth of narrow lanes and honking vehicles, and even locals sometimes got lost. But Ravi remained calm and patient, weaving through traffic with practiced skill, while occasionally glancing back to reassure her with a smile. "Slowly, slowly," he said gently, patting the seat beside him. "We go there." After nearly an hour of searching, a mix of wrong turns, asking bystanders for directions, and circling back to familiar landmarks, they finally arrived at the Greenview Inn. Sarah stepped out of the rickshaw, visibly relieved. "Thank you so much," she said earnestly, handing him a generous fare along with a folded bill as a tip. Ravi shook his head, pushing the extra money back toward her. "No, madam. This is enough. You are guest here." Sarah hesitated but eventually accepted his gesture, touched by his honesty. Before leaving, she handed him a small card with her name, Sarah, and a phone number scribbled on the back. "If you ever need anything," she said with a grateful smile, "please call me." Ravi watched her disappear into the hotel, feeling a strange mix of pride and curiosity. He had no way of knowing then that this brief encounter would change his life forever. The next few days passed uneventfully for Ravi. He returned to his routine, picking up passengers and navigating the chaotic streets of Mumbai. But Sarah's card stayed tucked safely in his pocket, a small reminder of the grateful tourist he'd helped. Meanwhile, Sarah was busy settling into her new role as the owner of Metrotrans, the transportation company that employed hundreds of drivers, including Ravi. She had inherited the business unexpectedly after the passing of a distant uncle she barely knew. Though she had no prior experience in managing such a large operation, Sarah was determined to make a difference. During her first week overseeing the company, Sarah spent time riding in various vehicles to observe operations firsthand. She rode with bus drivers, delivery truck operators, and even auto rickshaw drivers like Ravi. What struck her most was the disparity between the hardworking drivers and the poor conditions they endured: low wages, outdated vehicles, and minimal support from management. One afternoon, while reviewing employee records at the office, Sarah came across Ravi's name. Something about it felt familiar, though she couldn't quite place it. Then she remembered. the kind rickshaw driver who had gone out of his way to help her find her hotel. Curious, she dug deeper into his file. Ravi had been with the company for over 12 years, consistently receiving positive feedback from passengers. His record showed not a single complaint, only praise for his honesty, punctuality, and willingness to assist others. Sarah decided to visit Ravi personally. She wanted to thank him again for his kindness and see if he might have insights into how she could improve working conditions for drivers like him. When Sarah arrived at the parking lot where Ravi stored his rickshaw, she found him chatting with other drivers under the shade of a tree. At first, Ravi didn't recognize her. She looked different in professional attire, but when she introduced herself, his eyes widened in surprise. "Madam, you came back?" he exclaimed, standing up quickly. "Yes," Sarah replied with a warm smile. "I wanted to thank you properly for helping me that day. And also," she paused, glancing around at the worn-out rickshaws and tired faces of the drivers, "to learn more about your work here." Over chai served in steel cups, Ravi shared stories about his life as a driver, the challenges, the joys, and the sense of pride he took in serving passengers. He spoke passionately about the need for better maintenance of vehicles and fairer wages for drivers. Sarah listened intently, deeply moved by his dedication and humility. By the end of their conversation, she knew exactly what she needed to do. A few days later, Sarah called Ravi to her office. A sleek, air-conditioned space that felt worlds apart from the dusty streets he was used to navigating. Nervously adjusting his turban, Ravi entered the room, unsure of what to expect. "Please, sit down," Sarah said warmly, gesturing to a chair across from her desk. Ravi obeyed, clutching his hands together as he waited for her to speak. "I've been thinking a lot about our conversation the other day," Sarah began, leaning forward slightly. "You've given me so much insight into how we can improve things for drivers like you. And I realized something. You're exactly the kind of person who should be helping lead these changes." Ravi blinked in confusion. "Me? But I'm just a driver, madam." "You're more than that," Sarah replied firmly. "You're honest, hardworking, and deeply committed to your job. Those are qualities every leader needs. That's why I want to promote you to a managerial position within the company. You'll oversee driver operations, ensuring everyone has the support they need to succeed." Ravi stared at her, stunned. For years, he had dreamed of a better life for his family, but this opportunity was beyond anything he'd imagined. "But why me?" he asked quietly. "Because you've shown me what true leadership looks like," Sarah explained. "That day you helped me find my hotel, you didn't know who I was or what I could offer you. You simply did the right thing because it was in your nature. That's the kind of integrity I want to build this company on." Though overwhelmed, Ravi accepted the offer humbly. "Thank you, madam. I will do my best to make you proud." True to her word, Sarah implemented sweeping changes across Metro Trans. She introduced health insurance plans for all employees, upgraded the fleet of vehicles, and provided bonuses for exceptional service. Drivers were given access to training programs designed to enhance their skills and safety practices. For Ravi, the promotion meant not only financial stability but also a chance to advocate for his fellow drivers. He worked tirelessly alongside Sarah to ensure the new policies were effective and fair. Together, they transformed the company culture, fostering an environment of mutual respect and collaboration. Word of these changes spread quickly among the drivers, many of whom expressed gratitude for Sarah's efforts and admiration for Ravi's rise. "She chose well," one veteran driver remarked during a break. "Ravi always stood up for us. Now he has the power to make real change." Ravi, however, remained humble. "I didn't earn this alone," he often said. "It's because of all of you. We're a team." Under Ravi's leadership and Sarah's vision, Metro Trans underwent a remarkable transformation. The once neglected fleet of rickshaws, buses, and trucks was replaced with newer, safer vehicles equipped with modern features like GPS tracking and emergency response systems. Drivers received regular training sessions on road safety, customer service, and vehicle maintenance, empowering them to perform their jobs more effectively. One of the most impactful initiatives was the introduction of a driver support program. Through this initiative, drivers had access to financial assistance for medical emergencies, scholarships for their children's education, and even counseling services to address personal challenges. For many, these benefits were life-changing. They no longer had to worry about falling into debt during tough times or sacrificing their kids' futures due to lack of funds. Ravi played a pivotal role in implementing these programs. He organized town hall meetings where drivers could voice their concerns directly to management. His ability to connect with his colleagues earned him widespread respect, and he became a trusted advocate within the company. Before, we felt invisible, one driver shared at a meeting. Now we feel valued. It's like someone finally sees us. Sarah often joined these gatherings, listening intently to feedback and working closely with Ravi to address issues. Her hands-on approach reinforced her commitment to creating a fair and supportive workplace. The positive changes weren't limited to employees. Customers noticed too. Passengers began praising the improved service, from punctual pickups to polite interactions with drivers. Tourists visiting the city left glowing reviews online, highlighting the professionalism of Metro Trans staff. As word spread, other transportation companies in the region started adopting similar practices, inspired by Metro Trans's success. Local newspapers featured stories about the company's turnaround, crediting both Sarah's innovative leadership and Ravi's grassroots influence. For Ravi, seeing the ripple effects of his work filled him with immense pride. He remembered all those years spent driving through chaotic streets, dreaming of a better future not just for himself but for others like him. Now, that dream was becoming a reality. Even Sarah marveled at how far they'd come together. "When I first met you, Ravi, I never imagined we'd be here today," she said during one of their strategy sessions. "You've taught me so much about resilience and compassion." Ravi smiled humbly. "And you've shown me that kindness can lead to incredible opportunities. Together, we're proving that change is possible." Years later, Ravi stood on a stage in front of hundreds of Metro Trans employees at the company's annual awards ceremony. The event was held in a grand banquet hall adorned with banners celebrating achievements and milestones. As he looked out at the sea of faces, drivers, mechanics, managers, and support staff, he couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come since that fateful day when he helped Sarah find her hotel. In his speech, Ravi shared his story, not just the successes but also the struggles. He spoke about growing up poor, working long hours as a driver, and the challenges he faced before meeting Sarah. "I didn't know it then," he said, "but helping someone in need wasn't just an act of kindness. It was the beginning of something bigger than myself." He went on to thank Sarah for believing in him and giving him the opportunity to lead. "She reminded me that everyone deserves dignity and respect, regardless of their position or background. And together, we've shown that compassion and hard work can create lasting change." Sarah, sitting in the front row, listened with tears in her eyes. After the ceremony, she approached Ravi with a proud smile. "You've done more than I ever hoped for," she said, hugging him warmly. "No, madam," Ravi replied. "This isn't just my story, it's ours. You taught me that kindness has no limits, and I'm still learning from you every day." Their partnership had inspired countless others. Schools began teaching lessons based on their story, emphasizing the importance of empathy and teamwork. Businesses across industries adopted similar initiatives to support their workers, citing Metro Trans as a model for corporate responsibility. Even strangers reached out to share how their story had motivated them to perform acts of kindness in their own lives. For Ravi, the greatest reward wasn't the title or salary. It was knowing that his actions had sparked a movement. Drivers who once felt invisible now believed in their potential, thanks to the example set by a humble rickshaw driver and a compassionate leader. In the end, Ravi's journey wasn't just about rising above hardship. It was about proving that kindness transcends boundaries. Whether rich or poor, young or old, everyone has the power to make a difference. All it takes is a willing heart and the courage to act. And so, surrounded by gratitude and purpose, Ravi looked ahead to each new day, ready to inspire, uplift, and remind the world that even the smallest acts of kindness can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Ravi's story reminds us that kindness, no matter how small, has the power to create ripples far beyond what we can imagine. When he helped Sarah find her hotel, he wasn't thinking about changing his life. He was simply doing what felt right. Yet, that one act of generosity set off a chain reaction that transformed not only his future but also the lives of countless others. This proves that every action matters, and even the simplest gestures can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Think about your own life for a moment. How many times have you hesitated to help because you thought it wouldn't make a difference? Or maybe you doubted whether your actions would be appreciated. Ravi's journey shows us that kindness isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up for others when they need it most. Whether it's lending a hand to a neighbor, offering words of encouragement to a friend, or simply being present for someone who feels unseen, your actions can leave a lasting impact. Kindness builds connections. In a world where people often feel isolated or overlooked, acts of kindness remind us that we're all connected. Something as simple as holding the door open for someone, sharing a meal with a stranger, or listening without judgment can bridge gaps and bring people closer together. These moments may seem small to you, but they can mean the world to someone else. Small gestures create big change. Ravi's decision to help Sarah seemed ordinary at first, but it led to extraordinary outcomes. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, has the potential to inspire others and create lasting change. When Sarah repaid Ravi's generosity by improving working conditions for drivers like him, she sparked a ripple effect that touched an entire community. Imagine what could happen if each of us committed to paying it forward in our own way. Everyone deserves compassion. Ravi didn't judge Sarah based on her appearance or circumstances. He saw someone in need and responded with empathy. When we treat others with dignity and respect, we create a culture of inclusivity and understanding. Kindness is contagious. Ravi's story inspired Sarah, who in turn inspired him, creating a cycle of generosity that continues to grow. When you choose kindness, you encourage those around you to do the same, amplifying its impact exponentially. So here's my challenge to you. Start today. Look for opportunities to spread kindness wherever you go. It could be helping a coworker finish a project, volunteering your time at a local shelter, or simply smiling at someone having a tough day. These moments might feel insignificant to you, but they could brighten someone's entire week. Remember, you don't need money, fame, or special skills to make a difference. All you need is a willing heart and a desire to uplift others. Will you step up and be the light someone needs today? Will you choose to believe in the power of kindness just as Ravi did? Because somewhere out there, someone is waiting for a reason to hope, and that reason could be you. Let's get started. One act of kindness, one word of encouragement, and one gesture of love at a time. Together, we can create a world where compassion reigns supreme, and everyone feels valued and seen. The choice is yours. What will you do today to make a difference? The world needs more people like Ravi, people who see a need and respond with generosity, even when they have little to give. So take a step forward. Be bold in your kindness. Be intentional in your actions. And watch as the ripples of your efforts spread farther than you ever imagined. After all, the smallest act of kindness today could become someone's greatest inspiration tomorrow.